going to be delivering a speech on why all schools should require stricter dress codes and school uniforms. All right. According to the National Association of Elementary School Principals, or the NAESP, school uniforms or formal dress codes are on the rise, and nearly half of public and charter schools have already implemented them or have plans to implement them in the next 2 years. Dress codes have been a hot topic of conversation. They started becoming popular in 1972, and when they are implemented properly, they can have a major effect on all of the schools, on the different aspects of the schools. Required school uniforms give students a sense of belonging, has a positive effect on peer pressure and bullying, and creates negative trends in violence. The Center for Prevention of School Violence phrases it best. They describe it as having 3 different P's. The place, so the physical security of the schools, the people, those in the school and those surrounding the school, the parents and teachers, and then the purpose, which is the mission of the schools themselves. And they say that each of those can be positively impacted by just changing your dress policies. All right, my first point, let's start with the place. Implementing school uniforms creates a major safety barrier. Here I put a couple different major statistics. In Long Beach, California, they took statistics a couple years before and a couple years after implementing a county-wide strict dress code where students had to purchase dress from a specific location, and all students wore exactly the same thing. They had a couple different options with pants and skirts, but for the most part, they all were completely uniform. And you can read a couple of them. Assault and battery dropped 34%, physical fights 51%, suspensions 32%, overall crime dropped 91%, suspensions in upper level grade dropped 90%, sexual offenses dropped 96%, and then vandalism dropped 69%. When they started taking this extra security measure, they realized that it benefited the schools all around. When they went on field trips, it's very easy to distinguish somebody that doesn't belong when all of the students are wearing the same green or blue and purple, and a stranger tries to blend in with the crowd and they're wearing a t-shirt or even something similar. If it's not the exact same thing with the exact same logo, it's very obvious to point them out, especially if they're on a school campus. It's very obvious to point out somebody that doesn't belong. And if they don't belong, it's a lot easier to be able to, keep the students away from them. If there's a threat in the school, it's not like they can accidentally stumble into a classroom. They're going to be very obvious as to who they are. And I feel like personally that if you know that this can help save students, and especially with these statistics put down so much violence in a school just by implementing a dress code, there's no reason not to do it. I feel like the safety and security of our students is the number one priority when it comes to schools, other than, even in their education, if they learn, thousands of things and they don't make it out of school every day without a black eye, is it really worth it? So my second point goes to the people. So students and parents mostly. A lot of people think, when you start school uniforms, that school uniforms are for private schools or for people that have a lot of money. But it's actually they've done a bunch of different studies, and it's actually been proven that when you start school uniforms, that people actually spend less money on school uniforms. A national 2013 survey of 517 school leaders, they studied principals and administrators, 94% of them said that school uniforms are actually more cost-effective than regular apparel. How is this so? Even though it's like a set cost, it's easy. Students want to wear Hollister, and students want to wear big name brands. They want to match with the latest trends. When all the students are wearing the same thing, there's no competition. They don't need to go buy brand new Nikes. They don't need to go buy all of these things that people think their students need, and they want them to feel positive at school. So they go and they spend all this money. Not to mention, students grow so quickly out of their clothes, it's harder for people to accept hand-me-downs, when the trend is already passed. But if it's the exact same school uniform for 10 years, they can wear their big sister's uniform, and it's going to be the exact same thing. So it helps parents a lot in the long run. I put on here average school uniforms cost less than $150 per year. French Toast, which is a popular school uniform company, actually averages theirs at less than $90 a year, and that's for multiple full uniforms top to bottom. And I feel like parents probably spend more than 20 times that, tax-free weekend before school even starts, not to mention things that the students need as the school year progresses and their feet get bigger and, their bodies get bigger because students grow out of their clothes a lot quicker than the rest of us do. Now, there's also a big debate about the impact school uniforms have because, of dress code. A lot of schools have big dress code problems. Girls come in, skirts too short, shirts too low. You don't have that problem with uniforms. When you've got a polo that only has 3 buttons, it can only go down so low. And when your skirts are all being ordered from the same place, the hemlines are always in the same spot. So students aren't losing time out on school, having arguments with, and administrators aren't having arguments with parents over what their kids can and can't wear to school. It's a set level, it's less distracting, and it's a lot easier for students to come to school and preach and learn. All right. So my third and final point is the sense of community. So again, one of the surveys that I had read stated that the schools, created, when you had uniforms, it created a sense of belonging with all of the students. A 2007 study found that teachers perceived an increase in the level of respect, caring, and trust throughout the school, with students and with teachers alike. When students see teachers all wearing similar clothing and trying to wear the same things as the students are, and the students are all at a level playing field, it creates a sense of, or you see them at the mall and they're wearing the exact same shirt, like, oh, we go to school together, like I know you even if I don't really know you, and it helps build a sense of community among each other. I put a couple different statistics up here because it's amazing to me how big an impact it can have on such a little change. 79% they did a survey of principals, said it positively affected classroom discipline, 67% improvement in student concentration, 72% in school spirit, 85% a better perception of the school by the community, which is huge because that's where all the funding comes from. And then 75% said it had a positive impact on peer pressure. Again, with peer pressure, it's a lot easier for students to not feel pressured when everybody's wearing the exact same thing. So I feel like, the results can really be incredible if the schools just take that chance and take that step. Now, of course, there's always going to be pushback. Students don't want to wear uniforms. They want to wear whatever they want to school. But if schools can push a little bit further to accomplish all that they want to accomplish, they can really make a big difference in the students. There was an 8th grader in one of those Long Beach, California schools. He was the 8th grade student body president, and he said, at first when he started middle school, he didn't enjoy it as much, but as he got older, he started to realize that his friends actually cared about who he was. They didn't care about what he was wearing because they all looked the same. So I feel like if that 8th grader can understand, and with some of these amazing statistics to see how different, life can be if you implement these, I feel like it's a no-brainer that school uniforms should be required for everybody. So, thank you. Woo!